Hey Dave, hopefully this will help you out. I think you're just missing that you need to set the delay source to time instead of tempo. And I'll show you how they interact a little bit here. So I've set dotted eighth as my style. And if I've got it set to tempo and I go in here and I tap a new tempo, or I change tempos manually with the thing, you'll see that the delay time down at the bottom here was 384. If I tap something new in, that changes to be relative to the tempo that I've tapped in. But I don't want that to happen. I essentially want to say, no, I want 290 milliseconds all the time. That's the way I want this thing to work. You need to change the source to time over in this delay here. Now what's going to happen is if I go down here and I set it to the 290 milliseconds that you were talking about, so 290. Now if I go to tempo and I change the tempo, oops, filter, change the tempo, you see how that delay time isn't changing at all? It's totally ignoring the tempo, which it should. You want it to stay stuck at 290 milliseconds. That's also the same if you tap a tempo in like this, I change it, anything like that. The tempo of the entire box, so something like, say, for rhythmic or the looper or any of that kind of stuff, could be set to that 170 BPM. But because you've said to the delay, only pay attention to this source time, then it's going to stick at 290. And so what I'll do is I would store the preset that way. There it is, it's stored. Now you notice if I go to the second preset here, I've got that one set to tempo. So that one, this tempo, it recalled 128 BPM tempo. If I change that tempo, it's going to affect the delay time, obviously. So say I make the tempo 160, I store that. Okay, now I'm going to go back to my first preset, and you'll see it's still set to time. It even stored that 170 BPM that I had done before, but it doesn't affect that 290 milliseconds. You'll see that's still there. But if I go to my other preset, and I've set it to tempo, it's set to 160 BPM still, and I can still go in there and affect the time, and those delays will change based on that tempo. So hopefully that clears up just the relationship between the source being tempo or time, and should get you going. All right, later.